Good morning, good afternoon, boss ladies, boss men. Happy Friday to everybody. Hope everyone's having an awesome day. As you can hear, I'm still sick, still pushing through it. COVID and the lingering effects are hopefully going to be through this weekend so I can get back to 100%, feeling better, doing what I do. But pushing through has been tough, it's been wearing me out. So today it's going to be short and sweet. So I just want to welcome you to Creating Opportunities. I'm your host, Bill Haga, Executive Loan Officer with Rocket Mortgage Local. I always stress local because I provide local pricing that's a good 1% to 1.25% less than our call center in Detroit, Michigan. So if that's a $500,000 purchase, that's a savings of over $5,000 just by making the switch from the home office to me. So that's pretty nice. We like to get local pricing out there to everybody that we can. I apologize. Like I said, I'm still sick, still pushing through things. So today's going to be short and sweet. I woke up this morning. It was 39 degrees outside. I couldn't believe it. So it was like 61 degrees in my house, and I prefer 70-degree weather. So that can tell you kind of how I was feeling this morning as I was freezing my butt off. But what that did, it made me start thinking about, winter's right around the corner. So what are we doing today? What did we do last week? What are we doing moving forward in order to get prepared for, our winter months when things start to slow down? So I started thinking about the things that I need to personally start doing with my own business and help generate some business out there for those of you who I've closed loans with in the past. So I appreciate your past business, and I'm hoping to generate some more for us here coming up here in this next couple weeks. So my plan is to go through my past and current clients and kind of reevaluate things, right? Reach out to them. It's just another reason to talk to them. um, I always love, it's like every conversation is, more information coming in. And the more information we have, the better we can assess and figure out what our true needs are and wants that client personally has. So by doing that, once again, keeping them top of mind and explaining to them, the market, because most people don't understand what's going on in the market. They hear what's going on in the market, they don't really understand what's affecting and those types of things. So those conversations I love to have. So this is the time for me to jump in there and start making some phone calls. During these phone calls, I know because I do this every year, I'm going to find that some people are just they just put things on hold. um, they're going to save up some money over the holidays, and they're not going anywhere this year particular, so they're going to be able to put some money back into savings, and they're going to get ramped up for early spring. Okay, well, that's great. However, we still got to keep paying our bills during this time frame. So it's good to identify who's buying now and who's putting things on hold and for what reasons, right? So then, right, we're the ambassadors, we're the educators. So this is where we come into play and have these, I call them big boy talks, um, of truly what's going on. So if people are just once again talking about rates, we got to educate them, right? Because these property values are going up. I'm seeing in still most of the areas now. In some, you're starting to see some drops, but I mean, that's kind of normal, right? I mean, that's kind of what this wave does, right? However, it's still on a continuous rise, right? Even though it dips a little bit, it's still rising. So, this is a time to talk about equity in someone's home. If they've got debts, maybe we're pulling out a second mortgage and paying off debt to get them prepared to sell this house in order to move up to the next house. Um, all these things that we need to discuss and go through with them to kind of educate them, make sure that they're making the right decisions out there. And we never want to miss an opportunity either, right? So, just depending on the scenario and where rates are, remember refi rates are different than purchase rates. Yeah, let me say that again. Refinance rates are different than purchase rates. They're lower. Okay. So a lot of people don't know that either. So when they look at an advertised rate, 9 out of 10 times that advertised rates for a purchase. So they're not understanding once again that they may have an opportunity to refinance now. And that's why we have these conversations. Okay. So I encourage you to call your clients and have these very same conversations. All right. And once again, I use these opportunities to identify who's still looking to purchase, right? Who do I need to still be really keeping top of mind for myself, making sure I'm running numbers, making sure that, I'm communicating the market and what's taking place and, um, you know, everything that we do to educate. So, once again, I encourage you to do this with your list. I promise you, if you do this, you're gonna open up some opportunities for yourself. You may even get a few listings out of it, right? Because winter's right around the corner. I don't like to move when it's snowing. So everyone here in the Midwest and wherever we get snow, I mean, we're already thinking about, you know, putting up plastic and everything else in the windows and making sure that we got wood to burn. And I mean, we're thinking of those things. We're not thinking, hey, it's time to move. So once again, let's identify your clients who are still looking to purchase by the end of the year. All right. So we can focus on those clients and keep in mind we still want to, obviously touch the rest of the clientele, but you'll find that out as you go through your list. Right. So create a spreadsheet. I have one created. And it's about as simple as, are you in the market to still purchase this year or not? So as I identify them, then I'll put them in subcategories from there, right? Some people may want to be working on their credit. Bill, my credit's, still in the low sixes. I know if I get it up a little bit higher, I'll have better opportunity at a lower rate, lower cost, all those things. Okay, that makes sense, right? However, let's weigh that against what's taking place in the market, right? If houses are still increasing by 5 to 10,000, every 6 months, I don't know if I would wait, right? I would get in there as quickly as I could, get a house, and then at that point in time, just wait until the rates drop, and then refinance. I hear someone, oh, I hear this a lot, and on my side of the business is, you marry the house, you date the rate, right? Because the rate's there for a period of time. Because once it drops, then everyone's going to have the opportunity to refinance, right? So at that point in time, then you take advantage of the rate, you buy it down even further as you can, as if you never have to touch it again, right? We saw that this last go around when a lot of people were, currently sitting in. I know I gave away a 2.25% on a VA loan. Um, so most of those rates are, 3 to 4%, but some people got in there right at the very bottom and bottomed out in the twos. So those people probably aren't selling for a while, right? However, they may have tons of equity, right? So there may be an opportunity for them to pay off a bunch of debt. And then at that point in time, create a savings. Now they have a savings. Now they can put half of that towards paying off the house faster and the other half towards their savings. So once again, there's opportunities just based off of what's taking place. And most people may not even know that they have an opportunity. Okay. That's why we have those conversations. All right. So that was the big thought that came into my mind this morning as I was freezing cold and wanted to make sure that I had enough firewood outside. So we stayed warm all winter. All right. So that was really my big today's agenda was, let's identify who's buying and who's not, and then figure out what we need to do for those particular clients, right? Because keep in mind their goals might have changed. So that's one of the big things I'll be asking. What are your goals? Before you wanted to get into a house as soon as you can, lease money down, based off your current credit. This is where we're kind of at, right? So maybe we're just reassessing a game plan. It may be the same game plan. They just haven't found a house yet. Okay. Maybe we talk to them about a different area, right? Sometimes in our minds, we get a little fixated on certain areas that we want to be in. We may not be there yet. Okay. Maybe this house that you're looking to purchase is your springboard to get to the next one, right? Or it's your first investment property. Okay. That's what I always say to do. I mean, your first house, you're getting in there and keep it, right? Come start saving money for your next down payment. So now you've got a rental. Now you got two houses generating income based off of appreciation. You paying the notes down. You got a renter paying the lease. That's how it works. Okay. That's how we all benefit from a real estate portfolio. And that's how you create them. It's the best way to create them. All right. So we want to figure out what we're going to do and finalize 2025. So ways that I can help you finish strong this year. Sounds like that the winter's coming on a little quicker and sooner than what we expected. I hear some people were saying it's supposed to be a super bad winter. So I don't know. We know that when it's cold in the Midwest, there's still people buying in Florida, right? People still buying in California, all over the coast, because you guys really don't slow down too much. You do a little bit, but business is still kind of normal for you. So we'll just be chasing business in those states. Simple enough. All right. So ways I can help. Um, let's see here. Um, but the best way that I think that I can help is by scheduling a meeting. Let's schedule a meeting and let's really break down your business, what you've got going on, what's producing, and let's figure out how I can plug in to what you're already doing and add to it. All right. The last thing I ever want to do is take away from what you're doing. What works is working. Let's figure out what we can add to it. Okay. That's where the benefits come in at, right? Adding additional programs, knowledge, whatever the case is needed, right? That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to support you and help you close more clients, help more clients, right? Our whole mission changed to help everybody home. So that's my entire focus. I mean, when I'm looking at a loan, I'm looking, how does this thing work anywhere? Okay, because that's the goal. No one wants to be renting. No one wants to be throwing their money away. However, renters are still needed, right? And there's always going to be a group of renters out there. But I come across renters who've been renting for 10, 15 years. I mean, things have got to make financial sense for you, right? So if you're truly renting and your rent's 2,500 bucks, times that by 12, that's 30,000 a year. Okay. And I mean, I come across these clients all the time. In fact, a lady's been renting for 16 years. And this is why I'm saying this. She has paid $480,000 in rent and doesn't have a home to show for nothing. No equity, nothing. I mean, her landlord has made out like a bandit, right? She pays every month. She's on time. She keeps the place up because she loves her home. Problem is, it isn't her home. She's renting it. Okay, so this is the education piece that I think that a lot of our clients need. They're just scared, right? They don't know how to fix things. They don't know what to do if something does break. So once again, we need to be that ambassador. We need to be, that support factor that explains all these things to them. Because What else would be holding you back if it wasn't fear? Everybody wants equity, right? Everyone wants an asset that's going to increase in value, right? I mean, what's the negatives? The only negatives happen if you don't pay for it, right? You still got to pay for it. However, you got to pay for rent too. If you're not paying rent, they're kicking you out or raising your rent. So either way, you're going to pay. So once again, let's help our clients. Let's educate our clients and get them to understand, the true meaning of what homeownership really opens the door to, right? And it's wealth. I mean, I've witnessed it a number of times. I've got clients. I've been in the business a little over 22, 23 years. I still have clients from my first year being in the business who I still work with, all the time. And I've seen them sell their homes and make, two or $300,000 and start crying at the closing table because they've never had so much money in their life. And it all started because they purchased a house. Okay. So that's the part that we need to educate on. So these are the ways that I can help, right? So we have bridge loans, we have buy before you sell programs. If someone's in a house right now and they've got equity and they need those proceeds from the sale of that house to purchase their new one, that one's contingency upon of a sale, right? However, we got programs that will remove those contingencies, right? These guaranteed buyout programs, they're cash offers. So if you've got a cash offer, you're no longer contingent. Okay. So these are awesome ways of getting things done. Um, and it's all through programs. Okay. Um, Super jumbo. Anyone need a loan up to 5 million? I know down in Alabama and Florida and California we do. Absolutely. Because most banks only go up to 2 million, 2.5 million. All right. So that's the big difference. We also have a national down payment assistance that's active right now. So if you got a down payment program that your state or county or whoever it may be offers, and it's helping a lot of people, please bring that information to me when we meet. All right. Because I can add those programs now and or submit them for approval. And if they get approved, then I can start offering those programs. So that's a win-win. It's huge, right? We're here to help. Once again, we want to help everybody home. So if you've got someone who's self-employed, right? I just spoke to a real estate agent earlier this morning. Um, Hello, boss lady. She's looking to purchase, right? She's self-employed. So we were talking about her tax returns, and she was like, "Yeah, I pretty much write a lot of things off." Okay, I understand. We all do, right? No one wants to pay taxes, so I understand completely. So we've got a bank statement program. So okay, so what if we just took all your deposits based off your employment, right? And we took off 20% off the top because you provide a service, but then we took the rest of it divided by 12. That's going to be the income that we're going to use. So, based off of tax returns, she was looking at about $2,500 in income, or based off her bank statements, 12 grand. You can buy much more of a house with 12 grand versus 2 grand, right? And obviously, the income's there. She can pay the bill. So, that self employed bank statement program is amazing. Okay. It's an awesome program because there's a ton of people in your community that are self employed. Every business owner is self employed, right? How about that for a conversation? Hey, I realize you're self employed and I know it's a little tougher to get in financing. Hey, are you aware of this program? Well, no, if I was aware of that program, I'd probably be buying a house right now. See what I'm saying? And that's why it's our job to educate. Okay. Retired. I see a lot of this. All right. Because I do a lot of business in the southern states. So a lot of people come to me and say, yeah, I'm retired. I've got pension income. I've got social security income. That's really about all I've got. Okay, well, let's see what that does. All right, so it may add up to 4 or 5 thousand bucks. Okay, not too bad. But unfortunately, you got a couple automobiles, so that's you know adding to your debt. So income's a little tight based off of that. However, they've got assets. Okay, um, he's got pension sitting there in or he's got an IRA account. It's got like 680,000 in it. Awesome. I'll take that 680,000 and I'll subtract out the closing cost and any reserves that we may need. And then I'll take the rest of that money. I'm going to divide by 84 months, and that's the income I'm going to use. So, based off the retired income, they're buying a $350,000 house based off of what money they really have coming in, based off their assets. We're buying a $650,000 house. So, these are huge differences. All right. If you really want to get someone excited about buying a house, and they're looking at $350,000 houses, and you show them, hey, you can afford the $650,000 house payment, right? Yes, we can. Absolutely. Okay. Well, let's get you there and let me show you how to get there. Okay. That's what we do, right? So these are just some programs that we have in place um, that can help every single day. All right. Like currently, right now, we're running a free temporary 1.0 buy down. What's a temporary 1.0 buy down? All right. If the market rate is 6%, then our client, based off of that 1.0 temporary buy down that we're paying for, would get a 5% rate, yeah, for the first 12 months. So once again, if you've got, a client who hasn't purchased yet because they're still waiting on those rates to come down, okay, well, that's a great way of getting the rate 1% below the market right there, right? So you don't have to wait. You can do it right now because we got a program for that. Okay. So I encourage you, if we haven't talked, please schedule a meeting. Let's talk through your business. Let's find out what you're doing, what's working, and what we can add. I mean, mind you, we also have builder programs. So if you're not currently working with a builder, I can help you with that, right? We can make those connections. All right. So schedule a meeting and stick to the meeting. Right. I know I've been sick. I apologize. I had to cancel. I couldn't even focus. Right. I was so sick. So once we schedule a meeting, please do whatever you can to keep that meeting. All right. I trust me, it's going to be beneficial. You're going to learn a lot about your business, right? I'm going to learn about your business. I'm going to figure out ways that I can, help grow the business, how we can generate leads between us. Mind you, if you're not using list reports, that's one of the things that I'm going to show you and allow you to sign up for free. It's something that I pay for every month. However, I provide it to my agents for free. Okay, as long as you're doing business with me, of course, right? So schedule your meetings and let's figure out what we can do together. Okay, that's all I've got for you today. I'll have my phone and laptop on all weekend in case you need anything. But good luck. Let's get them approved and let's get them under contract. All right. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Take care. Bye bye.